From 1380Z, Conklin and Company, with 1380Z Action News anchor Lee Conklin. First, with what's happening behind the headlines. And Take 3, our panel of political analysts.
Morning, everybody. Welcome into another edition of Conklin and Company. Today on the program, celebrating a centennial for Scott High School. Looking forward to the mayoral election here in Toledo with a man who's been around to see a lot of them over the years, local pollster Stanford Odeski. A lot of scams out there. Dick Epstein, the president of the local BBB chapter, here to tell you about some of them. But first, it tends to be a sign of the times, the economic times, the housing market. So where is it? Here in the local area as we march towards spring on this chilly Sunday morning here in Northwest Ohio. Here to talk to us, John Mangus from RE/MAX Preferred, and Kathy Kuyat. Also, both co-owners, brokers with RE/MAX Preferred, been through the wars, a lot of them, when it comes to real estate, the real estate market here in Northwest Ohio and Toledo specifically. But we got new numbers, new January numbers, John, that point to some positive signs, and maybe you can speak to that.
Absolutely. You know, we're very, very encouraged, very excited about those numbers. We're seeing the number of homes being sold going up. We're seeing prices going up, which that's the first time we've seen that in a very long time. And the other piece that's really very integral is we're seeing inventory dropping. And that inventory dropping really has a way of carrying through and affecting the overall picture of the market. In other words, the foreclosure piece of the market, you know, the new construction piece, you know, that inventory dropping has a way of carrying all the way through all segments of the market.
Yeah, you don't want that glut out there of...
No, we're excited to see the glut going away.
Yeah. Kathy, let's pop up some numbers here if we can. First of all, it's sales closed, I believe, in January compared to last year. Take a look at your screen here. We've got them here for you. Yep. And it's up 22%. That appears to be a significant jump from a year ago at this time.
It really is. And really what we've seen, there's so much activity right now in open houses. There's more buyers in the market after the holidays than we've seen in a long time, many years.
Starting to get the itch again. Huh?
Yes, absolutely.
And there were, I also had the graphic there that you mentioned, John. Prices up significantly too.
Yes.
Is it part and parcel? Do they go together?
Absolutely, absolutely. Lee, what we see is you know, it's the old supply and demand thing, but you know, in the post-holiday, post-election season that we're now in, you know, we're seeing a whole new crop of buyers in the marketplace. And I would tell you that the real estate market that we have right now may be the best market we'll have all year. And the reason I say that is interest rates are still phenomenally, historically low. I mean, a fixed rate in the mid-threes, that's unheard of. Yeah. You know, that's just unheard of.
How long, John, Kathy, can those rates possibly stay where they are? They've started to inch up just a little bit, haven't they?
They have. They're up closer to 4 now. And we think with the market improving the way it is, that probably in the spring, normally we see a usual bump up in the spring market. So we are predicting that probably sometime in maybe March, April, even May, that we'll see an upgrade in the interest rates.
And today, Sunday, I bet you there's something, a lot of houses out open 2 to 4 today?
Yes.
Or 1 to 3. When we talk about those closed sales, is there a preponderance of activity in the higher end, or is it's still the lower end, below 50,000 per se? I mean, where is it all over the map?
It's all over. Yeah. It's all over. Particularly, you know, that what we like to think of as the mid-price point, maybe the 75 to 150 market. That is incredibly dynamic, really, really strong right at the moment. You know, and you know, when you think about the overlay on that, you know, with interest rates where they are, and with a minimum down like on an FHA where they have 3.5% down, they can own so much more affordably than they can rent in today's world.
Didn't we get into this trouble because it was you didn't have to put any money down before? Yeah. I mean, very little down. It was the dream of owning the home. Didn't it kind of provide the impetus for us to get into the economic mess that we were in 4 or 5 years ago?
I absolutely think that that's the case. And you see that the lenders really have backed off on their positions. It's a lot tougher in most cases to get a loan. The buyer has to have a minimum of 3.5% down, and that's FHA loan. So the lenders are more strict, and it is tougher to get a buyer through the process, the financing process, than it was years ago.
And by and large, that is a very good thing.
Yes, yes.
I mean, when you talk about that, and there was also some good news in the story in the paper this past Friday about foreclosure rates. So we had home sales up, home values up, or sale prices up, but also foreclosures down. And what do you attribute that to?
we've seen a steady decline in the number of foreclosures, and largely we feel that's due to the fact that many banks are finally getting the message that, hey, it's so much better, it's so much wiser to work out a short sale than it is to go for the foreclosure. They lose roughly half as much money on a short sale as they do on a foreclosure. So it's in everyone's best interest to work out the short sales and not let the property become a foreclosure type inventory.
Although I've talked to a number of people, Kathy, who have gone through the short sale process, and it ain't pretty.
It's not pretty.
But talk about the benefit for the buyer, because there is a deal involved there.
The benefit for the buyer, if they're patient and can wait a while to get the transaction to close, they're usually buying the property way under value. And again, for the bank, they're not going to have all these additional costs to take it to the foreclosure process. So everybody wins in the short sale process.
Okay, let's look forward now. Okay. Well, you sound, John, like, hey, now's the best time to buy a house or sell a house, right?
Yeah.
But looking ahead, as unemployment is kind of leveled off, we brought it down, and now it's been kind of flat. I imagine there's a direct correlation. We talk about economy, jobs, housing, car sales in this area. Right. So where are we going from here? Now, Kathy, I mean, and projections that RE/MAX Preferred might make looking forward in 2013.
We see 2013 being up probably about 10% for our company over 2012. And as far as things that are going to happen with the job market, we don't have a whole lot of control over that. But we are seeing some good signs as far as businesses coming into town, and some of the things that have happened with the auto industry, as far as Jeep increasing their progress, as far as the vehicles that they're building every day, Chrysler, some of the other companies that are affiliated with the car sales ship. I mean, we see a lot of changes there that are going to help our business.
Lucas County specifically has been flagged as one of those counties where housing values have really taken a tumble over the years. Right. Starting to go back up in the right direction, but how long, John Mangus, before we see those home values where they were 6 years ago, if you own a house here in Lucas County?
Boy, if I had that crystal ball.
Tell me. Next May.
Yeah,
maybe by May?
Maybe by May. People ask me all the time, how's the market? How's this? How's that? And the market's really different depending on what part of the market you're in. In parts of Lucas County, for instance, Monclova Township, we're seeing double-digit increases already in that market. So, in the course of a year or two, those kinds of price points may be back to where they once were.
Similar point in northern Wood County.
Exactly. Northern Wood County is the same. However, when you look at the overall big picture of the market, we've got a long way to go. Yeah. We've got a long way to go.
It's going to be a while.
It's going to be a while.
Have some patience. All right.
On the other hand, home ownership still does matter. It still is a great way to make sure your kids go to good schools, and home ownership matters.
Well said.
All right.
John Mangus, Kathy Kuya.
Yes.
Thanks very much for coming in. A pleasure having both of you on Conklin & Company this morning.
Thank you,
We'll
sir.
come back in just a minute. Dick Epstein from the BBB joins us right after this.